morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of voice for radio, and well, you see, there's a lot of news, a lot of big news going on today. And it's a little bit sad, because for the first time in a long time, I was in a really good position. I was going to have a lazy Thursday, lazy Friday, weekend off. I was ahead with my work in a way I had not been for weeks. And the news has been coming thick and fast today, ladies and gentlemen. But you see, the news here all about these new products is so gosh darn exciting. I'm not going to not just rush and tell you about it. That ain't not my style. Does that work? I don't know. We're getting new V battle decks. Yeah, that's right. We've just had released the Venusaur and Blastoise V battle decks. Now we have got the Gardevoir and Victini V battle decks, and I tell you what, this is awesome. I mean, it shows us that these V battle decks are here to stay, which is kind of cool. And if we look at the dates, we are getting them on May the 7th, 2021, which of course is pretty much exactly 3 months after we got the Venusaur and Blastoise. Now, these aren't coinciding with a set release, but it does look like they have replaced theme decks. And theme decks, we would have got a pair of theme decks every 3 months with the set release. So 4 pairs of this a year, 1 every 3 months, but not necessarily coinciding with a new set. Yep, that makes about sense. Also, do remember these will roughly coincide, because the V Battle decks came out in February, and although Battle Styles is coming out in March, remember, Battle Styles was almost certainly, well, I mean, it was, let's face it, we can look at years' worth of data. It was supposed to be a February set, but it got delayed due to COVID. That's not official, but come on, look at the data, it's blatantly true. So, it seems to be that we're going to get these every 3 months in the same month as we get our new set. Although, again, we're not expecting Sword and Shield 6 in May, we're expecting it in June, because we're still a little bit delayed because of the whole COVID thing. Now, it's interesting to note that these are coming out in May, and once again, you can either get the single packs or the double pack. Remember, the double pack for the Venusaur and Blastoise actually does come with an extra bunch of trainers, including a couple Holo Bosses orders. So there was a little extra pack with trainers in the double, so the double still seems like the best way to go here. But these look like reprints, because we don't have nice clear shots of the cards, but we do have shots of the boxes which allow us to see the cards and see that they are in fact reprinted versions of cards we got before, although at least they are doing us the solid of giving us alternate artwork. It is interesting to note that this artwork for either of them has not yet been seen in Japan. I'm sure it will at some point, and please correct me in the comment section if I'm mistaken about this, but as it stands, we haven't actually seen this artwork anywhere else. We've still got 3 months till these actually come out, near as darn it, so they could end up in Japan before then. So we have got a little bit of a sell sheet here, and it reads like this. Get ready for a major Pokemon battle with a ready-to-play double deck bundle with extra trainer cards. Okay, so actually, right in the sell sheet, I missed that when I read it the first time. I kind of skim-read it. So it does seem like the extra trainer cards are in the double. The Pokemon TCG V battle deck Victini vs Gardevoir includes a deck for you and one for a friend so you can face off. You can choose either Victini V or Gardevoir V to lead your team in a heads-up battle against another trainer. Then switch up the decks and see what things look like from the other side. Can you win with both powerful Pokémon V? Yeah. And to be fair, there is then a separate sell sheet for the individuals, which reads, get ready to ignite a massive blaze with Victini V, or unleash the powers of the mind with Gardevoir V. They're ready to charge onto the battlefield in 2 new Pokemon TCG V battle decks. Each 60-card deck is led by a Valiant Pokemon V, and includes everything you need to play right away. Let the battle begin. So yeah, the V battle decks are absolutely back, and from the sell sheet it is very obvious that you are getting an extra pack of trainers, whatever it might include. Now, Gardevoir V is honestly not terribly interesting. Gardevoir V came around in Champion's Path, and although I have shown you kind of deck lists coming out of Japan, it's an interesting card. It is, shall we say, not one that has set the competitive world on fire. Victini, however, now this really interests me. Remember, there is a new Victini V which is going to be coming around in battle styles because there is a Victini V Max, but I've said this very clearly before, let me say it again. The original Victini V, the one from Sword and Shield, that is the better of the two. And it's not even, as far as I'm concerned, particularly close. They are reprinting the better one here. This is a reprint of the one from Sword and Shield, and I am delighted about that because it is by far the better of the two. And I am of the opinion that Victini V is redonkadonk. For 2 energy, it does 100 damage, but if you're against a Pokemon V, it does 220. So use a welder to get 2 energy on there and basically one-hit KO all but any Pokemon V. Like, there's a couple that will survive, but very, very few. Wailord. So generally speaking, you're basically KOing any Pokemon V. For a welder on a big VMAX Pokemon, I cannot be the only one that thinks this is good. There are going to be so many games, and if no one else is doing it, I assure you I'm going to be. There are going to be so many games where you go second, and your opponent has a turn, and then you have your first turn, and then you're being hit for 220, bearing in mind you cannot possibly have evolved into a VMAX by that point because you've only had 1 turn, and things are going very, very wrong very, very quickly. I am a huge fan of this new Victini V Max, to the point I went and bought a playset of Sword and Shield Victini V because I was so excited. I paid like $2.50 to £3 each for them, including postage, so don't feel too sorry for me. But shall we say, maybe I didn't need to rush out too much. These are cool, and you can expect new ones of these every 3 months, and that is kind of awesome. But that is not the only new product I've got to tell you about today. We have also got a Galarian Rapidash V box. And if any of you are thinking, well, hang on a second, Wassy, we've not seen Galarian Rapidash V, that seems entirely new. Yes. Yes, it does. Now, this is coming out apparently on May the 7th. So again, we've got the same release date. Not terribly surprising because these products were revealed on the same day. And what we get here is the usual thing. 4 booster packs, a promo, an oversized promo, and a code card to play it online. Except it's a brand new Galarian Rapidash V that we've never seen before. So, of course, the question then becomes, is this any good? Also, bear in mind, right, this is likely to be exclusive. We've seen a bunch of things like this in the past. Hatterene V comes to mind, although I've kind of gone on record as saying that Hatterene V is the worst Pokemon V we've seen so far. But this is likely to be exclusive and not be released elsewhere. Is it any good? Well, if we take a quick look at it, what we've got here is 210 HP, which is standard, retreat cost of 1, which is honestly kind of low, and it means free retreat with U-turn board and all of that good stuff. A resistance to fighting, which is rather nice, if I'm honest with you. That's kind of cool. And we don't actually know what the weakness is too, because Galarian Rapidash is Psychic Fairy, both of which would come into the TCG as a Psychic type. But then again, we can see that it doesn't have a resistance, like Gardevoir for instance, so it's a Psychic type, not a Fairy Psychic type. If it's a Fairy Psychic type, there's no resistance and a weakness to metal. Because there is a resistance to fighting, it means there's going to be a weakness to darkness, which on the one hand means you are weak to Eternatus, but fighting decks are looking a lot better in the near future, so Eternatus might take a step back, and if it does, you'll be alright. Now, in terms of attacks here, we've got Libra Horn. Now, I think this is a Psychic Colorless Energy. And it reads, put damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon until its remaining HP is 100. And I kind of like this attack way more if it's double colorless. It really looks like Psychic Colorless, though we don't have a particularly clear look. We will do another video about Galarian Rapidash V when we do have a better look. But it looks an awful lot like it is Psychic Colorless. You put damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon until they've got 10 HP remaining, and that basically then sets them up to be KO'd by a whole bunch of stuff. The problem is it's psychic colourless. So you can absolutely do this, but you need to be a little bit awkward. You need to hit heads on a turbo patch, or use a Tapu Koko to accelerate a lightning energy, or get some second energy on there in some way, or else you're not actually going to be able to go ahead and use this attack. You can't just Welder, for instance, which you could if it was two colourless energy. So I kind of like this, but you've got to have a plan here, right? I love the idea of bringing any of your opponent's Pokemon down to 100 HP, but you've then got to be able to then get the KO. I mean, it's super awkward, and I mean super awkward, but remember that a Kyogre Amazing Rare with a Telescopic Sight attached will do 110 to each of your opponent's bench GXs and Vs. So using Galarian Rapidash to bring them down and then sweeping with Kyogre, that's a plan. It's a super awkward plan that will almost certainly never work, but it's a plan. The second attack here, 2 Psychic Energy, Psychic, and this one we do know is 2 Psychic Energy, 60 damage plus 30 more for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So basically here, it's Indeedee V. Like, the second attack here is basically Indeedee V. Now, it's not quite the same. Indeedee was Psychic Double Colorless 10 plus 60. This is 2 Psychic 60 plus 30, and essentially lower energy Galarian Rapidash wins, higher energy Indeedee wins. If there's 2 energy on your opponent's active Pokemon, Indeedee will do 130, and Galarian Rapidash will do 120. Yeah, Indeedee only actually falls down if there's 1 energy on. If there's 1 energy, Galarian Rapidash does 90 and Indeedee does 70. After that, it's Indeedee all the way. But it is for 1 energy less, which does give it a bit of an advantage. I don't love Psychic here. I would rather have Indeedee. Plus, Indeedee's got the awesome ability that heals damage. I do like Librahorn, but I'm fairly sure it's a Psychic Colorless Energy, which means I don't like it quite so much. But it's a completely exclusive Pokemon V, which has never before been seen anywhere else. For that alone, that is really kind of cool. So there we go. No score until we got a really nice, clear view of the card. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we've got. This is kind of awesome. There are new products, and you have my permission to start getting excited. And no, I didn't really intend rushing out a news video this evening, but you know what? When new products get revealed, I like to think you are all there waiting for me to talk about them. And you're probably not, but in my head you are. And that means I've got a job to do. But I want to know what you think about these products, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to know if you're going to be picking them up. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.